Hey folks, what's going on? Welcome to the next episode of the Coach Gap podcast. Currently sitting in a heap of traffic over towards collecting Freya from her mum's over in Kildare town here. So they live beside the village, the shopping outlet, and it's the 20 something of November at like 20 past 11, and I'm in the hard shoulder here, and traffic is probably another 100, 150 meters back behind me, and we have another 200 meters of traffic in front of us. So, again, you can kind of, sometimes in life, you know, we can't like forecast, or we can't foresee kind of things, problems coming our way. And then there's other times when we do foresee problems and we don't try and plan or arrange in advance for them. So, kind of knowing the time of year it is and knowing where I had to get to, I'm like, okay, traffic might be bad, so this isn't surprising. And so I know there's going to be a hurdle in my way. So I know the quickest way to collect Freya is to go one set of directions here. However, I know I can keep moving and keep my momentum of getting there by going a different, slightly longer route. And sometimes we can do that with our own goals, where we're so married or locked in on doing things a certain way, even though there's a lot of traffic, there's a lot of obstacles in the way of getting there. It's going to kind of take us a lot longer, and that's something where it's such a simple concept. We've spoken before on the podcast about flexibility being one of the most important abilities we could have. Also, not being an arsehole is a good ability. And just because there's cars going down and trying to skip the queue down the end here, and it annoys the bejesus out of you. Really, like, I mean, you can see the queue, like, just fucking pull in. But yeah, it just really, really grinds me gears. And so sometimes we just have to go kind of the longer. We have to take that the longer route, or the less appealing route, I suppose, is the way to do it. So the more appealing way to collect Freya this morning would be to stay and take the shorter road and just kind of grind it out and move very slowly forward here. And the other way, though, is that I could take a slightly longer way to get to my goal, but I'll also be, the benefit being, I'm going to be moving. And it's as much a mental benefit as anything else. Mentally, we're moving. Mentally, we're making progress. And that can be for goals as well. I'm about 20 weeks, about 5 months into my goal of kind of dropping weight. And we're still ahead of schedule. I'm down, I think I'm like 22 pounds, like 10 kilos as of yesterday, the day before yesterday. And still got, I think the day after Stevens Day is the last day of this 90-day block. So it's nice, steady, sustainable, maintainable. Could I take a more kind of intense or drastic route to try and drop more weight? Yeah, I could. The downside being, an approach like that isn't sustainable. And my goal, not just to drop the weight, but it was to do it in a manner that didn't mean having to totally alter and revamp my lifestyle. It was something that I could sustain and maintain for a long time, because then I know that keeping the weight down, taking the weight off, is a lot easier to do, a lot safer to do, a lot more maintainable. And that's something I've preached for a very long time to people. If you have a lot of weight to lose, and a lot of weight is a subjective um, number. Like I did 10 pounds in 90 days. So let's say you want to lose like 30, 40, 50 pounds over the course of a year. Um, you would plan it for taking the longer route, while also hoping that there would be that the actual drop off will be quicker. And again, like this, again, to use the doors, I'm going to take the longer route here now, because as I look at the two bridges ahead of me, they are both bumper to bumper as well. So I'm going to take the longer route, and hopefully the lack of resistance, the lack of obstructions, the lack of hurdles, the lack of things that could get in my way will mean I get there quite quickly and quite speedily. And certainly in the more, and time is the essence here, because I want to collect Freya, get back to Kilcullen, collect Yolanda and Mila, and then we're going to venture to Dublin to do some Christmassy bits. And you're like, right, so the quicker we get up there, you're trying to avoid crowds and everything else and things like that. So it's like, and this all goes back to like planning in itself. Planning our days out, planning our. We were going to do our Santee visit today, but then talking with Yolanda, she's like, no, she goes, she would rather push it down the line. And I was like, okay, cool. So we looked at, it allows us to be more flexible with our plan today, that if we're going to do that thing later on down the line, that that's a bit brighter. It really is. Planning is massively important. And just kind of flying by the seat of your pants, or bouncing through your day from moment to moment, doesn't really breed an environment for like long-term success. Now it's just sometimes you just have to take the long way. You just have to be like working on your mental health, your emotional state. It's a long-term thing. It's not a sorry, excuse me. It's not a quick fix. There might be actions you can do, or activities or tasks you can do right here, right now, to change your state of mind in the moment. But it doesn't necessarily mean that because I did really well previously with it, doesn't mean that, oh yeah, sure, I'm grand, I no longer need to do it. It's something that has to be done the whole time. You have to keep at it. You can't just really, oh, I did it once 90 days ago. I was on a workshop yesterday, for example, and the work in it has to be done every day. If I want to achieve the growth and progress I want, I need to do that work every day. I did some of the work yesterday, and I saw a benefit. And I was like, great, cool. I also need to do some of that work today to see that benefit again. And that's often sometimes that get greatly overlooked. A lot of my coaching isn't sexy. It's not flashy. It's not like, oh my God, this is just like quick fix essential. It's not about like, I don't actually want to motivate anyone. Oh Gavin, you're so motivational. I'm not. No, not really. I'd like to like create momentum and help create leverage so that you can stay on top of things as you go. Because motivation will wane, motivation will whimper, motivation will drop off. And what do we do when our motivation is gone? And my motivation to train lately has gone out the window. We've hit kind of like mid-November, and we've hit mid-November. Evenings are darker. Our Christmas tree is up. It's been up since the 1st of November. Don't even worry about trying to argue with me about it. And I try to make the most of the time I have when I get back from work or before work with the kids and with Yolanda. So we're getting to enjoy the festive period because I don't have to rush and blink and it's gone. So my motivation to train has fallen by the wayside massively. And what also doesn't really help is that, like I said, I'm 22 pounds away from what I was at the start of July this year. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm well beyond my initial target, and I'm within spitting distance of my current target. But like the weight I am now on the scales, I'm all right with. I don't mind if I float around this. Um, so what I need to do now is create more pressure points, more leverage, and more momentum, so that I stay on top of things. So my workouts are going to get shorter. I'm going to aim for like 20, 30 minutes, and it's just going to be things that I can get back doing as I go. My shift pattern has changed and work a little bit, so as much as I love hopping on a spin bike and going for it, it's not as sustainable as it had been in that first 90 days, or even in the first kind of 30 days, 45 days of this current cycle. It's and I knew that was going to come. I knew my current block of October, November, December, when I was planning it out, I was like, right, October is really where I can kind of make my progress, because come late November, early December, I've got my birthday, Mila's birthday, Freya's birthday, and Christmas all in a 24-day span of time. So, and again, and like you'll have no greater preacher of the sure, the birthday is just a singular day than me. But I also know lifestyle wise, I'm gonna be trying to catch up with friends, catch up with family, um, and all these different things. I want to be able to kind of like plan ahead for next year. I've a couple of career changes coming up, exciting stuff, like real. I am like, okay, let's go. Like we are. I'm just trying to finalize whether we want to do workshops before Christmas or after Christmas, in terms of like our out with the old, in with the new is kind of going to be the sales pitch or the marketing pitch on it. So you can get rid of old habits, get in new habits. We're going to do like maybe 20 seats at each one and go from there with it. And it's going to be, it's like the old Jay-Z song, allow me to reintroduce myself. It's going to be kind of Coach Gav back with a bang, and like E17, we're back for, or take that, we're back for good. It's enough pop culture references there. So that's kind of one thing for us, is we need to kind of plan on as families, where, and I see it the whole time, where people just let this time of year just run riot on them and on their goals and on their progress. And that's just not really sensible. You sit down, you plan it out. What do we have? And what do we need? What do we not need? Food wise, what are the options? I went to McDonald's yesterday, and I had ordered a breakfast, double sausage egg McMuffin with a coffee. And I was like, you know what? I was like, oh. I said, feck it. I said, no. So I'll just get a coffee now, because I knew later on in that day I was going to be having stuff at home. So the move there was to pivot, and to whatever I was going to spend on my calorie budget here, I could shift over and spend later on, and just try and strike a balance with that. But that's where kind of we can go with it as families, husbands and wives. We spoke in the last episode about delegation. What can we delegate to make ourselves more impactful, make our effort more impactful, I should say, and more beneficial? And especially now this time of year, you really don't want, like, we're talking about 6 weeks, 5-6 weeks left in this year. And what we try and do is kind of use that. December to me, or maybe the last 2 weeks of December, it's a preview of the year to come. It's a preview of 2026. It's a chance to get that momentum going. So you actually roll through. I mean, don't get me wrong, we'll enjoy Christmas Day. We will end up having nice Christmas dinner. And Christmas for us is like, we've something we do on the 24th. Like Christmas Eve, the girls will do meats and cheeses and that kind of stuff. Christmas Day morning, scones, jam, coffee, big thing in South Africa. So we're trying to balance out, or we're trying to create new traditions here. And I think we spoke previously about it. And same thing then, Christmas dinner, chicken, ham, couple of bits, and we don't really host like. It's not as if we have like 15 people over for it. So there's no need for massive amounts of food, and it's just kind of being smart about it, and then just not letting the whole thing go to plan, or not try to not let the whole thing go without being planned out or mapped out, and giving ourselves support and structure to navigate your way through it as you go. Traffic is just, and this is totally, well, this is pretty much off topic here. Traffic is just nuts. Like I'm 15 minutes recording this, and I've moved probably 500 meters. And I suppose that's fine as well. You're going to have times in life where your momentum is at a snail's pace here. But like me losing my cool here now is going to serve no one any benefit. Like me effing and blinding, and like what's the point? There's some scenarios where you just gotta fucking suck it up, and this is one of them. You know, and I know I'm gonna hit traffic later on today as well. But excuse me, like where in your life are where in your life are you getting frustrated by something that you can do nothing about, really? I mean, the only way for me to have avoided this scenario was to have left my house way earlier, have gotten here way in advance, and um, have gotten here in advance, and then skipped all the traffic. But then I would have been here maybe like an hour earlier than I needed to. So again, you're trading your time. And one of the things I understand with my position as a coach, my time is a bit more flexible with it. I don't necessarily have to work a. I don't necessarily have to work. Sorry, I'm just distracted by the guards here trying to maneuver traffic. Up until recently, I've understood that I've had to work 41-hour work week and fit in coaching and everything else around it. And we spoke on the previous workshop with Paul about buying back time. And in the context of that, it was related to how do we, as business owners, sole traders, all that kind of stuff, how do we buy back the time in our day to do more of the tasks that allow us to make more of an impact and everything else. And as I'm absorbing that information and seeing how it relates to me and where I'm trying to go with it, I'm also like, well, how does this relate to the people that I'm trying to coach? How do I sit there in front of a workshop full of moms and dads and everything else where they're all like, yeah, but I have to commute to work. I have to work at full time, everything else. I'm like, I absolutely get that. I 1,000,000% get it. And it's because of that reason that you need to manage your time better and to buy back time in different capacities. Ironically enough here, I've actually made what I thought was the right move has turned out to be the wrong move. I didn't realise the guards were up here flagging stopping and driving traffic. So if I had stayed in my lane to the right, I actually probably would have been able to hit that roundabout and get across the Freya's estate a bit quicker. But again, I've made my decision, so I will. I've made my decision. I'm gonna stick it out again, because that's also sometimes what you have to do. Just make a decision and stick with it as you go. And also being a nice person too. Like, we're all in traffic anyway. So I've waved the car on who was in. They were on the wrong side. Now they've crossed in, so that car can move in. Other cars can move along. I think people are really brave beeping other cars while the guards are standing there. It's just fascinating stuff. And I was like, what the fuck are you going to achieve by beeping? We're all in the same scenario here. So losing your cool is going to achieve nothing here. Yeah, so we'll wrap this episode up here because I'm starting to ramble a bit more. Try and plan out things as best you can. We can't always forecast or foresee problems, but when we don't plan at all, we have no chance of forecasting or even trying to potentially see issues. There's just no way. If you're just going bumper to bumper or bumping from moment to moment, there's no way you can be like, all right, here's a possible pitfall, here's a possible issue. And now, having gone through this, I will now know that I will plan my next set of weekends around, hey, it's probably going to be pretty heavy traffic-wise. I'll collect Freya at a different time to just make it more efficient. Like, I left my house at 11, maybe even before 11. It's 20 to 12 now. It's 40 minutes. I still haven't collected her yet. It is a 15, 18-minute drive at best. And so, yeah, sometimes you're going to have to take the longer route. There's no other way around it. Just suck it up. Momentum is far more important than motivation, because motivation will just drain and wane very quickly. You know, it's like pulling the plug out of a sink. It'll just go the whole way down really quickly. So that's where your momentum needs to come into it. And sometimes doing the bare minimum, barely crawling along, is perfectly fine. It'll get you where you need to get to. Maybe not as quickly as you'd like, maybe not in the manner you'd like to do it, but it'll still get you there. And getting to your goal, getting near enough to your goal, is far more important than getting nowhere, but having insisted on doing it a particular way. Right, folks, we're going to wrap it there, and I will most likely talk to you in a few minutes when we're stuck in more traffic. Good luck.